Hey everybody, it's Stuart with Wine on the Dime, and as you see, my location's a little bit different. That's mostly because I'm in the process of selling my house, and I got the carpet replaced. And as you know, I've had a few accidents in that room while shooting wine reviews. Fun. I'll be right back. With that being said, I'm not allowed to shoot in the upstairs anymore because of the new carpet, so I'm going to be shooting my review of the Corner 103 Sparkling Rosé down here. Stay tuned. All right, so before we begin today's review, if you like it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click that notifications bell, like it, share it with a friend, leave a comment, do all of those things. So like I said, today I'm gonna be reviewing the No Vintage Sparkling Rosé from Corner 103. They are the upcoming guests for the Pink Society chat this Thursday on Twitter, and Lloyd Davis is going to be joining us to talk about them. And another cool side note, they were named the #1 tasting room in America. It really is kind of a cool place. I'll put a link to the website below in my video description, and just go down there and check it out because it looks freaking cool. So anyway, like I said, today I'm gonna be reviewing the Corner 103 Sparkling Brut Rosé. It is 12.5% alcohol by volume, and it retails for $45, but they were nice enough to send it to me in advance for the Pink Society chat. Let me go ahead and just cut to me having this thing open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so let's take a look at this from a color standpoint. And as with all sparkling wines, I'm gonna have to give it a second to settle. So just let me clip to that now too. All right, so from a color standpoint, I'm gonna say you are, well, it's kind of tricky because you look like you could be a little pink here, but I'm gonna lean towards salmon. I'm gonna lean towards a light salmon, no artifacts, no cloudiness. And I forgot to mention that this is, if I get the numbers right, 84% Pinot Noir, 12% Chardonnay, and 4% Pinot Meunier. So it actually has a traditional champagne style blend with those three grapes. All right, so before you get to those, I forgot to mention this too, is 84% Pinot Noir, 12% Chardonnay, and 4% Pinot Meunier. So it does follow a traditional champagne style blend in terms of those three grapes. On the nose, whoa, hold on. Pronounced intensity on the nose. I'm getting it all the way, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 4 or 5 inches away. So I'm getting strawberry, red cherry, a little bit of red apple. I'm gonna stick my nose in. Ooh, there's a nice little hint, just a slight hint of volatile acidity. Yeah, it just has this slight little just brush of like a kind of tart balsamic, but it's barely there. But noticeable, but barely there. It's also has this cool like cranberry, it's like I'm trying to think of it, it's like a cranberry punch that I've had before. It sort of has like this general fruit note, but then it has like this really kind of tart smelling cranberry that comes out of it as well. I'm not getting anything on the nose that would really hint at like MLF or a lot of secondary treatments, but who knows, maybe I'll get it in the taste. Let's find out. Okay, so acid, high acid, woo, high acid, I really like that. There's also this element of the mousse. The mousse isn't really a fine mousse. It has these like, almost like medium-sized bubbles. Like if you've ever seen like a baby kind of like spittle, like when it gets excited, it's like, that's kind of what it's like. It has those bubbles, it's not fine, but the texture of the bubbles is not coarse, it's not rough. They're just kind of there, and actually what it ends up doing is it kind of adds this crazy body to the wine. Like as I was moving it around, it just felt like the wine was about to pop out. I actually got to a point where I decided I'm gonna swallow it because I don't wanna keep moving it around and release more of that carbonation, because at some point I'm not gonna be able to contain it, and I don't want that kind of video, especially after I just kind of told you about all the other problems I've had reviewing wines upstairs. But I really like the fruit on this, a lot of primary fruit. I'm not really getting any secondary notes, but I mean, it's just really bright, crisp. When I talked about tart cranberry, there's tart cranberry. And I don't know if that's just because the acid is elevating that even higher or not, but it has this really cool, just kind of zing on that cranberry. All the other fruit is there, it's supporting it. The thing that I find the strangest though, is the way the orange works. So the orange, basically hits you as hard as a cranberry does on the approach. As soon as it gets in your mouth, it just, boom, just smacks you in the face. Then it goes away, and then right as you're transitioning from the mid palate to the finish, it pops back with almost the same intensity. It's like this yo-yo effect. Like you kind of think you're done with it, and then it just keeps going. And that's interesting. I kind of expected it to either show up in the end or in the beginning, or maybe just kind of be subtle all the way through, but there's a noticeable intensity on that orange. How would I rate this? Well, let's go ahead and get to the blick. From a balance standpoint, I think you're in balance, full point. Length, medium plus length. So that's nice, not long though. I am gonna give you half a point. In terms of intensity, intense on the palate, intense on the nose, I'm gonna give you a full point there. And in terms of complexity, this is where I'm not really going to go too far beyond half a point. And that's mostly just because I'm not really getting any secondary elements. If this was made very much like the way they make champagne in France, I feel like I should be getting more of those sort of like almond and toasty notes and butter. I'm not really getting that. I'm getting just a lot of fruit. It's really enjoyable fruit, but I'm not getting a lot of that secondary complexity. So like I said, half a point. In the end, that's 3 full points are very good. So congratulations. This is a very good wine, but to be quite honest, at $45, I would expect it to be because I'm a cheapskate and I'm not gonna spend that much money on wine unless I know it's going to be very good. So if you all are out there and you're cheapskates like me and you're wondering if this wine is gonna be any good, it's worth the $45, I can tell you that. All right, so we also know it's very good as a standalone wine, but the ultimate question remains, does it Shambone? All right, so like I said, this is one of my favorite tests for sparkling wines, and I really like doing it because it lets me get a very aggressive, don't go over, you're gonna do it. Anyway, it lets me get a pretty interesting take on the intensity of some of the subtle notes on the wine. One of the things I found out doing the Shambone method is that sometimes there are wines that are very harsh whenever you sip them out of something like a wine glass. But if you Shambone them, they actually become like really fruity and creamy. There are also other wines that flip, so they're absolutely astonishing in the glass. If you Shambone it, it's probably going to eat a hole through your esophagus. Anyway, so that's why I like to do the Shambone method, is because just because it tastes like this in the glass doesn't mean it's gonna taste like this when you're crushing it at a frat party or at your best friend's wedding. But that's too little of a pour. Let me get this straight. And then, you know what? We're gonna do the Shambone. All right, Shambone is loaded. Cheers. So, it does Shambone. Everything still is very nice. Actually, when you Shambone it, that medium-sized mousse becomes a finer mousse. All the texture still remains the same. It's just the bubbles become a little bit more compact, and that might be because of the shape of the funnel here. It doesn't have as much room to expand, so they just kind of stick together a little bit better. Also, it does have a very big delay on the acid. Up front, you just get all the fruit, all that nice mousse. It just tastes really good, and then the acid kind of comes back and haunts you a little bit. And it hits you really hard. Like, it made me pucker pretty bad. And also, there are sham burps. So if you're someone who wants to be totally couth and not be a burpy person, then this might not be the wine for you to Shambone. However, though, the sham burps aren't as bad as some of them. And on top of that, the fact that the mousse was really nice going down doesn't make it hurt when it comes back up when you burp. So, yeah, I mean, it's overall a pretty pleasant experience. So yes, you do Shambone. Anyway, this has been Stuart with Wine on the Dime. If you liked today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Have you had the Corner 103 Sparkling Rosé? I'd be interested to know if you have. Leave a comment below, and I'll see y'all again soon with another episode from Wine on the Dime.